Hey guys, welcome back. We have a great show for you today. This is called The Misconception of the Conservative. Okay. I just really feel like, I am misunderstood. And, I'm just here to set the record straight. And we're going to talk about why I support, Donald Trump, because I know a lot of people were, asking me about that. And I also have a special guest with me, co-host actually, Miss Ruth Moton. How you doing, Miss Ruth?
Hey, Tiffany, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you.
Yes, I'm doing great. Now we have so much to discuss because I feel like
Yes.
as Black conservatives, we are very misunderstood.
Mm.
And let's get right into it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So let's start from the beginning. All right. I want you to tell me a little bit about your background being a conservative. Were you always a Republican, or did did you change parties during the course of your life? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, as far as our voter registration, I was a registered Democrat. I grew up in the city of Philadelphia. I'm the youngest of five children. My mother, peace worker, worked for the union. And so everyone they were all Democrats. Cool, no problem. So then 31 plus years ago, because I've always picked who I thought could do the job anyway. Then with my Marine husband, and he said to me one day, because I never thought about it one way or another, but he was like, you're more conservative. You're a conservative. And I'm like, okay, cool. If being conservative means that, you know what, yes, I will help you, but at the same time, I hit the pavement working every day. You work, you take care of yourself, then so be it. I am a Republican. And when I think back even farther, my grandmother, she had businesses when you needed a husband in order to buy anything. So
Right.
she was a conservative. So as far as me, I probably was always born a conservative, if you ask me.
Right. Now, that takes me back. I knew since the beginning of the time when I was able to actually vote, I knew that the Democratic Party was not for me based upon my beliefs and my values. I
Right.
was 19 years old when I, knew what I actually was. Now I grew up in a Democratic household, but um, I just I paid attention and I saw what they believed in and what their values were. Speaking, about the Democratic Party, and I just did not agree with certain things. One of the things that stuck out to me was how I feel like they push these programs. I would say, like the welfare system, Section 8, things of that sort, onto the Black and brown community, and I feel like it's kind of like you know something to shut us up, and like, here, take this free food,
Yeah.
take this free
Yeah.
housing, just vote for us,
Yes.
and I just didn't like that because I feel like that's a dead end. You're not really able to prosper when you're stuck on
Right.
these programs. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Because they don't want you
where
to.
is yes. So that really stuck out to me. I'm like, well, I don't support this. I feel like, why you, enabling these people, and why you trying to keep them stuck and consumed, keep their mind consumed with help, instead of getting out there and trying to help yourself, So
Right.
that really
Right.
stuck out to me. What do you feel about that?
Right. You know what? I agree with everything that you said because, first off, if you're all about help, help is available to everyone. It doesn't matter what party you are or what party you belong to. Now, you and I are from a tad bit, different generations. So even as far as that help that you're referring to, I mean, myself, I've lived by myself since I was 17 years old. And I've been married more than once. But when I left my ex, my children were little. They were 1, 4, and 5. There were no programs. There weren't the programs that are out there today for child care and all those other things. No, my child care was my part-time job that I worked to pay the babysitter in order to go to the full-time job to work and get to a point within the company that, with getting promoted, that, I could take care of my children with just the one. I mean, girl, I could take you back to food stamps when you had to tear them outside of a book. So I don't know about anybody if they remember that. When
No,
you tore
I
them out the book.
definitely yeah, I remember that. I was young and I seen that, in stores and stuff like that.
Right,
But yeah, because family members had them back then, so I remember that. The paper stamps. Yeah.
right.
So, but yeah, that's just part of the reason. But here's the thing, I've gotten called a coon plenty of
Okay,
times. Okay,
okay.
and I think that when you're black and you're Republican, it I don't know what people in their mind think, like you're turning on your people, you're not pro
Yeah,
black.
yeah,
I don't get the theory behind it. I don't know. But
yeah.
that's definitely not the case.
Right,
That's not the
right.
case. And yeah, go ahead.
No, but that's people who they're taking their frustration pertaining to one person that they don't like, and they're putting
Hmm.
everyone into that category. Also, that's people who don't know their history. That's why even with
Hmm.
history is being taken out of school. If black folks knew their history, they wouldn't be calling you the things that they are calling you. And the last time I checked, this is still America. Not for long, but it still is.
Right. Um, Now, speaking on that, let's go back into time because
Okay.
we know before a lot of black people turned over to the Democratic Party,
Mm-hmm.
our grandparents were Republican. Okay. But then
Correct.
when those programs, welfare and all that other stuff came along, then, in order to get that, they had to vote Democrat,
Isn't that
So
isn't that
let's talk
sad?
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that
It,
for a minute.
isn't that sad? Because if they, again, I'll go back to history. The Democratic
Hmm.
Party has been around since like 1828.
Hmm.
They were the first party out there. There wasn't a Republican Party. That didn't come along until years later, like 1854 or so. So that was a while. And it came about because of the laws that were being passed when the Southern Democrats wanted to be able to come up north and get their property, get their slaves, and take them back. And up north, those that were free, those that were born here, black people that were free, like Frederick Douglass and a lot of names that people know. Well, that's when the Republican Party came about. So if you work, you should be able to reap the benefits of working. And so even leading into the Civil War, which is, you know what, that's the war that I say that is over free labor and booty. Okay. So it was. It's like, so Harriet Tubman and all, they fought against the slave masters who want to hold you down. Even with the food stamp, we talk about the paper. They've made
Right.
it nicer, more convenient. Now you have a card. You have a debit looking card like everyone else. And I am not saying food stamps are bad. They are there to help you.
Right.
But people don't use it like that anymore. I had stamps when I was young. Like I said, I was married and separated at 22 with 3 small children. But with
Well,
me, my
here's
goal. Go ahead. No, I'm
Hmm.
sorry. Go.
Yeah.
Go, Tiff.
But yeah, like you were saying, yes, it's there for help, absolutely, and there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that. But when you're allowing these people to stay on Section 8 for 10, years, and then passing it on down to, their
Generations.
children, yeah,
Yes.
what we're put a cap on it, because see, there is none,
Yes.
because that's what you want, you know, you
Yes.
want to keep them there. So, but
Yes.
yeah,
That public
um,
housing, I see that as modern day slavery.
exactly,
They know
exactly.
exactly where you are.
If you're handicapped,
Yeah.
you can't do nothing.
Well, but they make the handicap. Even if some
Hmm.
people, like in today's time, if you were to attempt to work a little bit more, then it's like, up, you made
Hmm.
$7 too much. Now we're going to take your stamps away. Well,
Right.
food is high right now. So for today, there are some people that are forced to either pull back and work less to continue to get
Hmm.
their stamps, because there's a lot of working people that get them, or you have to push past it, and then it's like, okay, now I have to grind harder. They're deliberately making it harder for people to work. I
Yeah.
worked when I was in high school.
Right. Well, let's talk about our presidential candidates right now.
Right,
Right now we have Joe Biden, President Biden. We also have
right.
Donald Trump. Let me ask you, because I know you do support Donald Trump.
Yes.
What are some of your reasons for supporting him?
Well, even with my background as far as working out here in the world, corporate America, etc., personal, professional, they don't mix. Look at the policies. Even after the Obama era, with Trump in there, you were able to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Now that light is dim. I look at the policies, and that's on a micro scale. So from micro to macro, even as far as what's going on in our world today, China and the rest of them, I don't care. Call them crazy, call them anything that you want, but none of them were threatening. Like North Korea, they threatened our current President Biden on more than one occasion. No one ever said anything like that to Trump. Why? You
Right,
need
right,
someone that, you know what? And with him being a businessman, I can see, guess what? The United States is a business.
right.
So we can't keep
Now,
spending more than what we're bringing in. So
yeah.
yes, those
Now,
are some of the reasons. I'm, as a Republican, I'm not trying to be in anyone's life, in your bedroom. I don't care what you do in there, because I don't want the government in
right,
mine.
right,
So
right. So you feel
no,
like you feel like his personal life is his personal life. Leave it
yes,
there. Why is it being brought inside of courts, wasting taxpayer dollars? Yeah, that's his
exactly.
personal life. Yeah, I agree with that as well. But yeah, and
No one did it to
not
Clinton, with
mm,
Clinton and the whole
about that.
Monica
Monica
Lewinsky and whatever,
Lewinsky.
and
Yeah,
no one did it to him. I mean, that was between his wife, his clergyman. He said he apologized to
right.
his wife. He did whatever. Look, let's get back to business and
Exactly.
the United
Exactly.
States, being an American.
Absolutely. I agree with that. But moving forward, let's talk about this border.
Oh
Because
God,
I definitely feel that's
what
a big
border,
issue.
Tiffany? What
Uh,
border?
the
What border?
border.
What border? What? Which
the
one? What?
well,
We don't
listen.
have one.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're just letting
No.
everybody in. I know. That definitely needs to be secured. Why do you believe Joe Biden is letting these people, these immigrants, come over illegally?
Right. Well, you know what? It could be me. I think initially he allowed them to come in, because even if you think about him, once he won president, as president, They started lining up from day one because his whole campaign was all about that. How, oh, Trump's a racist because of the wall. Oh, he's a racist because of the wall. So they were lining up to get here. And then when they found out he won, they start running here. And we started having caravan after caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Other
Right.
than, and then I don't know, I can see in a way kind of two sides of businesses. That is, businesses are
Yeah.
having a problem keeping employees. Some people, some of y'all out there, y'all lazy kids that you need to kick them out of your basement, tell them they need to get a job and do something.
Mm-hmm.
So businesses are hurting, especially after the pandemic. But Washington and the Bidens and all of that, yeah, I don't believe their reason behind, because they have other
Yeah.
reasons that are like crazy. But I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
We've been invaded. We've been invaded.
Yeah, and I go to a lot of political events, and from what I've heard, I sit and I listen, and from what I'm hearing is, you know, they're coming over to take over our country. Really, that's the whole
Tiffany,
goal.
you tell
Yes.
me, if I'm leaving a country because of all kinds of horrible things going on, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yet we're in a caravan. I'm carrying my country's flag like we're about to land
Mm-hmm.
on the moon. No, they are coming to take over. Death to America. What do we call that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So no. Mm-mm. And you said you've been
Yes.
called coon. I've been called
All the
racist,
time.
womanizer. The latest was
Uh,
fascist. I'm like, oh, that's new. Thank you.
yeah, it's
I
really a
ignore that.
shame. You have to. You have to. It's blatant ignorance. Okay. These those who feel that black people who are Republicans are coons, you're brainwashed. Okay. You definitely are. You need to do your research. You need to really find out what's going on. They're
Yes.
conditioned. They're conditioned to think that, oh, all black people should vote Democrat for whatever reason, But um, I'm sticking to what I believe in. Period.
Yeah. Are they the
And
best
it doesn't.
candidate? Are they the best
It
choice?
That's the bottom line, and it's not a
Yes.
party thing. It's about
No.
who do you feel is the best candidate. Okay,
Right.
I mean, can you do you guys really want to do another 4 years under the Biden administration? I mean, really, let's talk about inflation. I mean, I went to Aunt Annie's Pretzels the other day. One pretzel was $8. Eight
Oh
dollars.
no. That be
I mean, come
no
on.
more. No.
I went in
Mm-mm.
Target and I was trying to get the little granola bars. $15 for like eight
Mm.
granola bars, 14.99. Like that's insane. But here's the thing. Some people believe that the inflation has nothing to do with Joe Biden. That's number one. And number two, you have people who keep saying, "Oh, it's because of the pandemic." Well, the pandemic been over for about 3 or 4 years. I feel like these businesses done made their money plus some already by now.
Oh,
So how
yeah,
do
the
you feel about
government
that?
spent the money. They spent a lot of the pandemic money that was designated for the cities. That's
Mm-hmm.
one. And no, again, but it depends on the person that you're talking to. They know nothing about the economy or inflation. You have inflation that can happen due to policies. If they want an example of a country, Venezuela, they were affluent. Then, you know what, their president, due to policies he created. Because instead of sending, say, even with Biden, how much did he just send to Ukraine? I'm just asking. There's a lot of Americans that could use that money. But
Right.
Venezuela went from being affluent to eating out of the trash can.
Hmm. Wow. Well, let me ask you this: what are some of the what do you feel needs to change right now, like indefinite, like right now? in our
Right now,
country.
don't watch 3, 6, 10, 12. No. Because you know what? To the black people calling you a coon, then they may relate to this. Whenever there is a crime in a black neighborhood, it's on the news, every channel, all day long. Let it happen
Right.
in the suburbs or somewhere else, you don't hear about it. And then it seems that when they interview a person, it's like, why do y'all find the one that they don't have any teeth? It's like, wow, yeah, all blacks. This is not a proper representation of black
You know, like,
people.
I agree. I
But
agree.
crime goes on everywhere, but you don't hear about it everywhere, do you?
Right. Not really. You don't.
No.
Yeah.
A
You don't.
shooting, anything. If it
I.
happened in Philly or Chester or someplace else predominantly black, it's on the news all the time. Oh, there they go again.
Do you think that our country has gotten soft on crime by not
It has gotten
prosecuting
soft on crime to
criminals?
illegal aliens, but to U.S. citizens, no, because Americans are still being arrested. But illegal aliens, the mere description of who they are, you've already broken the law. But don't worry about it. We'll put you up in a 5-star hotel. We'll give you some money. They're beating up our police. Oh, you know what? They let them back out. You don't need bail. Let us go start beating up on some police. And I'm not saying that we are, but we'd be under the jail if we were to even make it out alive.
Okay.
So when it comes to crime on who? Americans? No, because no, Americans are still getting arrested, their rights violated, whether you've done something wrong or not.
Okay. So you feel like, we're not soft on crime because some people who are innocent are getting locked up. They're behind bars. So I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
Well, what do you think about the heavy crime in I would say urban communities, big cities, like New York,
Right.
Philadelphia, Chicago? Do you think that the politicians are at fault for this, or you believe that that's something that their upbringing is to
No,
blame?
no, I definitely would say no to the upbringing. Again, I grew up in Philadelphia. You kept your
Mm-hmm.
house, your street, your everything swept. I would say the
Mm-hmm.
politicians, because they are the ones, like say New York, for example. Once the illegals started getting bussed into their city, first thing they cut was Meals on Wheels to senior citizens to accommodate people who've never worked, fought in a war, died, anything for this country. And look at the
Now,
people in Chicago now.
I definitely, I'm kind of in a sense, what I do, I kind of feel like it does have a lot to do with the upbringing, and I
Okay.
see it kind of is disturbing when we do keep blaming it on politicians. I mean,
Right.
it is their job to prosecute criminals, absolutely. But
Right.
what makes these children or teenagers, uh, feel like it's okay to do what they're doing? I feel like it definitely has something to do with your upbringing. Like,
Right.
your parents didn't teach you no better, because if you knew better, you do better, right? I mean,
This is true.
come
This is
on.
true. Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
yeah, I
just,
told a few kids of what I would do to them that their mother should have, and people get upset, but I'm like, no.
yeah, because I see a
But
lot of this. Well, stop voting Democrat. Stop voting Democrat. This is why the crime is happening. But I don't know if that will really change anything, really.
no, won't you
But yeah.
actually look into the person? Who are they? Do they have any experience? Did they, I mean, anything, be it life, be it school, it could be real life, it could be their careers. Do you know anything about them other than a D or an R?
Right.
And we don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Many people don't.
Right.
And then even with color, not just because, oh, she's a woman or she's black. You know,
Yeah.
I've had people say, oh, no, I didn't vote for you because your name. So I thought you were white. What? Why didn't you call me? I'd have
Yeah.
talked to you. If you'd have asked me, I'd have answered. But that's one of the dumbest things ever. And she
Yeah.
was running for district judge out here.
Wow. Wow. Well, is there anything that you would like to add to the segment today? I mean, it's our first, you know,
Yes.
show coming on here. Is there anything you would like to add? Because we have so much more to talk about, but
Yes.
this is our first show, so we just really warming up to things.
Okay. Yes. Everyone that I encounter, every younger person who automatically thinks that Republicans are racist, and I'll tell them, you know, I'm a Republican. Do you think I'm a racist? They're like, no, no, Miss Ruth. And the things that I say to them, I even tell them, don't just take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. Read for yourself. You know,
Right.
the Republican Party came
Exactly.
along years later so that when you work, you could keep it. And then had Civil War, boom. But even in our educational system, they stopped teaching that. But no one is stopping anyone from reading a book themselves. And everybody with a smartphone, you have a little mini
Right.
computer right there in your hand. Look it up.
Right. Pretty much do your own research. Stop following, the crowd and believing that just because you're black, you have to vote a certain way. Do what you feel is best for you in your
Yes.
family, in your community.
Yes.
Really do your
Yes.
research. Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Well,
Well,
I look
thank
forward to
you for.
talking to you on our next show. Yes. This, like
Yes.
I said, this is just the start. So, yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week, and we'll be talking
Mhm.
more, about the misconception of black conservatives. Okay, and conservatives,
Yeah.
period. Because they think
Yeah. Yeah.
Republicans are racist and this and that, but that's just not the case for everybody. All right. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.